Some close friends have asked me to do a video asking for verbal support from some of the people that I have known in my past or I have met or know. To start with, I'm going to start with Terry Farrell from Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Terry, I don't know if you remember me or not. So with each description, I'm going to give a little bit of background on how I know you. Well, we used to meet up, a lot of friends used to meet up at the Burger King at Lindale Mall in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Some of my friends were going to Avant modeling studio. In fact, I dated several girls from there and had some friends from there. On this one evening, when we were all meeting up, I was just starting to date this girl named Denise. Now, Denise was one of the people that I used as an experience when I created the business plan that was later used by Mark Zuckerberg to create Facebook. She worked for the local Cedar Rapids Gazette newspaper, and she did advertising and design, and she did modeling a little bit for the Avant modeling studio. Okay. Terry was there at Burger King, and she made I was young at the time. A lot thinner, you know, dressed nice, and she made a pass at me, and I said, I'm with her. And she made a comment that I shouldn't be with her. She was a homewrecker, and anybody that goes out with her, she ruins her life. So that's how I first met Terry. And she would frequent there often, and one of my best friends at that time was the manager there, and then he became the manager at a different restaurant that she also frequented. And over the years, I've watched, you know, her go from, you know, her start of her career, and, you know, she was on Red Dwarf, and then she was on Star Trek, and then she was on the series Becker. So there's one of the people that the friends wanted me to ask. Another one is Ashton Kutcher. Ashton worked at Randall Foods in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Now, those friends that the girls that I dated and the friends that I knew were also friends of Ashton. Ashton rode in the back of one of my cars at one point, one of my Firebirds. And I don't know how Ashton feels about me. The breakup, you know, with Denise wasn't, you know, the best. It was mutual at the, you know, but then, you know, the thing kind of, like a normal breakup. But I had dated another girl that worked at Randall Foods. That was also a co-worker. And so, yeah, I always liked Ashton. So Ashton, I would like your verbal support if you can. I think you knew Tiffany Musil. Tiffany was the one that inspired me to create the business plan to try to create an internet business that was going to help her after she became paralyzed after getting spinal meningitis. And her good friend Kim worked there at Randall Foods. The last one, well, no, let's not go to the last one yet. There was several music, you know, singer, musicians, band members from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, and I'm sorry I don't remember everybody's name, but after I became ill in 2000, some of them donated some items to me to try to get my house fixed, and I'm sorry if I don't remember everybody's name, but yeah, if you remember me, speak up. So one of the main ones that the friends want me to talk about, and I'm going to have to explain how this came about. I put an ad on the internet trying to get rid of some things around the property when I was cleaning up. And one of the items was from a 1958 Ford truck. And I advertised it on the internet relatively cheap. And only one person was interested in that. And this lady kept calling, and then she would email me, and she wanted to pick it up at a specific time, a month and a half from the date in which she contacted me. And I said, I'm not holding it a month and a half. And then the time kept on getting closer and closer and closer, and then she kept on emailing me and calling me, and she says, well, it's getting closer to that time, can you hang on to it now? Well, eventually I agreed to hang on to it. And then on the specific day and time that she had set up, she called me and she says, oh, I got to cancel. And I thought, well, what kind of an internet scam is this? You're not getting anything from it. So she talked to me and she said that she was the coordinator for somebody famous. And she set up time slots for him. Now, she told me that originally somebody else was going to pick this item up for him, but this person likes to do things like he did before he became famous. And he likes to be out and around people. And they have to make sure that before he goes to places like my home, they had to check me out to make sure it was going to be good for him and he felt safe. So he shows up in a Cadillac Escalade, and he got out wearing out of the Escalade, and his hat falls off. Looks like a Brown County Mountie kind of style hat. Blue glasses. He had tennis shoes on. They looked like kind of like the old All-Star high tops, and definitely not dressed for being in the farming community of Iowa. And he wants to pick up this item and tow it on the back of the Escalade. And I said, well, you're not going to be able to pick this item up today, unless you go get some parts so we can convert this over. And when I asked his name, he said his name was, he cleared his voice first, and he says, oh, well, I generally don't tell people my name unless you can figure it out by looking at me. And I said, so your name is, and then he clears his voice again, and he says, Isaac. And I said, no, wait a minute. I said, your coordinator just said you were hosting an event. You just got done hosting an event. And I said, Isaac's dead. And I really caught him off guard. And he decided to go to a local leisure hardware store in about 13 miles from here, I think it was. And he said he had a problem there a long time ago, but in a different state. So he left, and he sat up at the church for a little while next to our house. And I don't know what he was doing up there. Well, then he left, and he went to the store, and he came back, and he was all excited when he came back. And he said, well, nobody noticed him. He says he grabbed stuff and put it in a cart really fast, and nobody noticed him. And he bought more than he needed. And he's always smoking these thin cigars and metal tubes. And so we're converting this item over for he can pull it with his Cadillac Escalade. And I mentioned to him, I said, so Chris, I said, what's up with the name Johnny? And he goes, who did you call? Who'd you call? Oh, he goes, oh God, I gotta get out of here. And I said, no. I said, no. I said, there ain't nobody coming. He goes, are you serious? I said, no, there ain't nobody coming. He got a little paranoid at that point, and he wanted me to open up the doors to the garage, open up the doors to the barn, open up the doors on some. He got a little paranoid. Okay, and then he realized everything was all okay, and we were talking, and you know what? He's a really good guy. He would fit in with the rich. He would fit in with the poor. This would be a guy that would work at a farm just because it'd be like the old days, just to feel human again. to work on a car, an old car in a garage, or pull something out of a field that's been sitting for a long time and diagnose what's wrong with it. You know, when you get to be wealthy and you get to be famous, it's not so easy doing those simple things anymore. And I have to say, this guy was very, very nice. And we got to talk, we talked for hours. And he was telling me about his life, and at one point he just kind of stopped all at once. And I said, "What's wrong?" And he goes, "Oh, well," he said, I caught myself. I gotta quit talking." And I said, "No." I said, "Go on ahead." I said, "Don't be ashamed of who you are and how you got there, as long as you never hurt anybody along the way." He kind of shook his head and goes, "Yeah, okay." So we were talking some more, and so this person, he had a pirate costume with him, and so I looked up where this event was he was supposed to be hosting, and the name I came up with, and I have to say, yeah, looked like him, Johnny Depp. No, and like when I said, Chris, I said, "What's up with the name Johnny?" And he just, he just got startled. Talked about how I got into acting, some friends, life. I mean, I like the guy. I tell you, I do. But he's had some hard times, and he's made it through them. Nobody's perfect. So, but when he was here, this was July of 2014, and he was talking about getting away from acting and getting into music, and the band Hollywood Vampires. And I said, "Well, I kind of like the name Hollywood Legends better." He goes, "Oh, no, Vampires." So, I really was, even though this person was here and they claimed to be this person, I really kept on questioning, is this really who this is? He never gave me an autograph. I asked him at one point to autograph a guitar that I had, and I mentioned, "Can you autograph the back?" The back? No. Yeah, he never did autograph it, and I actually should have brought that up again, and I didn't. When he left, he asked me to watch the movie Transcendence. I think that was a movie coming out that year. So, I got an autograph in the mail later, but it's one of those auto-penned ones. I was hoping for something more personal. Now, Johnny Depp. Everybody believes, and I do too, that was definitely you. I don't think anybody can be that good of a stunt double. If you had a good time here and you met me, and we talked an awful lot, if you can, a little verbal support would be nice. If you feel okay with it. I'm on several of your fan sites, and if the fan sites are real, Johnny Depp had tried to contact me several times off the fan site, and through the Google Messenger, and we couldn't get our timing right. Every time that he would try to contact me, it was earlier in the morning, and I would try to do it late at night. So we were at least probably 3 hours off, And he does have my email address, and you should still have my phone number from your coordinator. So that was really a very interesting experience, and I have to say, if you don't know this, it's been a lot of years, being young, and when I knew the models that became Hollywood movie stars. Some I known better, some of them I just known not as much as the others. And I have to tell you, being around you and noticing how you would portray yourself really brought back the memories of those times when I was young. And I liked that. I really did. That was very nice. So if you can, anybody that I mentioned and anybody else that watches this, please support me trying to expose what happened. That Facebook was started by Mark Zuckerberg entering into an agreement to use a business plan that I created. That I was trying to get the business online to help my friend that got spinal meningitis and then she became paralyzed. Mark was supposed to, in that agreement, Mark was supposed to donate to free clinics, shelters, and help support MDA or something like MDA to help find a cure for my friend before she could walk again. But Mark never did that, and she passed away. In fact, she passed away before getting to use it, like the original plan was, which was for she would have a connection to the outside world, to friends and family, and to meet new people with the same interests. And Mark was supposed to pay me a percentage back, and there was two options originally. There was two options in the business agreement, that Mark was supposed to pay me a percentage, and he would donate to those places. And if he didn't, then he would have to pay me more, and then I would donate to those places. Now, if you haven't watched any of my other videos, let me explain something. I now have a neuromuscular disease. One of them that puts people in a like me in a wheelchair. I'm not there yet, but it's destroying my nervous system. In fact, they can't. I'm able to walk. I'm able to walk. I'm able to move. I get tired very fast. I get worn out. My right side, my arm, my leg is weak. The doctors can literally take it and move it up and down, and I can't hold it. The neuro reflex response from my lower half is down to nothing. But I'm still able to walk. But it takes more effort to walk. You'll see me at a store and it looks like I'm walking pretty fast. I'm doing pretty good pushing a cart. And then some days you'll see me and it looks like I'm grinding my teeth trying to walk because it's taking more effort to try to get this right side to move. And as I get worn down, you'll notice more of that. And when you get worn down, you get worn out, you get tired. So Mark left me broke. He entered into that business agreement, and before he left my home, he robbed me. He took everything with him. He used it to create Facebook, and he used what was in my notebook, not just to create it. There was a part in there I wrote up about what he now calls meta, but I was thinking that it would make a lot of money advertising and design wise, but I was shying away from it because I saw problems in the future of creating it. And guess what? He's having those problems. He blew all that money and it's not working. So he left me broke. I'm broke. And I can't afford the care that I need, and I can't get disability because a doctor misdiagnosed me 20 years ago. And I was having a problem with the government at the time. You watch the other videos, you'll find that out. I was a witness for the government, that the government was hiding, and they used some of those government agencies to hurt me. So, like I said, if you guys didn't watch my previous videos, I'll tell you what that was all about, just real quick like. You find the other videos, you'll learn more. A year and a half before the 9/11 attacks, I had met two of the people that was going to fly the airplanes, and one that was, they call him the co-conspirator, but he was doing paperwork and I don't know what all he was doing, but he was the whistleblower. That one was the whistleblower. And he came into where I was working at and dumped off items that was a trail to lead back to where they had been a year and a half in advance before the attacks. And he knew that he was going to be the fall guy, and he's a bad guy, but he was trying to whistleblow what was going to happen a year and a half in advance. And there was a guy that was following them in another car that was their handler, and he worked for the FBI. And I became a witness to everything, along with 2 other people. And I tell you, that really ruined my life, because I was ill. I became ill. You know, I was getting ill from what happened at the job. I got hurt, and then, you know, the problems, I didn't know what was wrong with me, but I knew I was getting sick. And they were cutting off my internet, slowing it down to a creeping pace, and they literally, like I said, they used those agencies against me. And I was trying to make ends meet when I met Mark Zuckerberg. I let Mark Zuckerberg stay at my house over an idea that he had. His idea was to take a school bus and turning it into a schoolie, and he was going to do YouTube videos, and he thought he was going to be this famous YouTuber. Facebook and all that, he learned it was originally going to be called My Journey. I thought it would be uplifting for somebody that had spinal meningitis. He learned about what I was trying to do and offered to do the coding for me. And then a lawyer, Mark Howitson, got involved, and they decided that it'd be better off if Mark just started it without me, and Mark was offering to pay me a percentage in return. So, watch my other videos. I can't hardly get anybody to watch them. I really need this verbal support. If you can do this, this would really help me out a lot. Thank you.